Hi guys, this is Daryl and welcome back to Sci-Fi Odyssey. Today we're diving into the socio-political commentary in Iain M Banks' series, The Culture. What if a society existed where AIs oversee all management, scarcity is a thing of the past, and personal liberty is the unspoken law? Welcome to the world envisioned by Iain M Banks in his groundbreaking Culture series. In the realm of sci-fi, few authors have stirred as much fascination and debate as Iain M Banks. A visionary Scottish author, Banks created an interstellar, quasi-utopian society known as the Culture, a place where humanoids, aliens, and advanced artificial intelligences coexist and where no one wants for anything. But beneath the surface of these engaging space opera tales lies a rich tapestry of philosophical musings and socio-political critique. Today we're peeling back the layers of the Culture, unravelling Banks' narratives to explore how he used his fictional universe to reflect on our own world, addressing themes of morality, governance, and the human condition. Iain Menzies Banks, born in 1954 in Scotland, was not just a writer but a visionary who expanded the horizons of science fiction. Banks, who also wrote mainstream fiction as Iain Banks, was known for his eloquent prose, dark humour, and imaginative world-building. Banks was influenced by the works of classic science fiction authors and the dynamic political climate of the 20th century. His passion for writing was evident from an early age, and his journey to becoming a revered author was marked by both dedication and creativity. The Culture series spans 10 novels that explores the possibilities of a society where technology has freed individuals from labour, allowing them to pursue their own aspirations. It has also enabled them to become a post-scarcity society, meaning no one wants for anything, and anything anyone wants, they can have. Yet this is not a simple utopia. Banks uses the Culture as a lens to examine complex moral and ethical questions, challenging the reader to think about issues like interventionism, the nature of consciousness, and what it means to be truly free. At the heart of the Culture series lies Banks' vision of utopianism. Unlike traditional utopias that often present a static, idealised society, the Culture is dynamic and complex. It's a post-scarcity society where citizens enjoy freedom from want and work thanks to advanced technology and AI. Yet Banks doesn't shy away from the inherent contradictions and challenges of such a society. Banks' utopianism is unique. It's not a perfect world. Instead, it's a realistic portrayal of a society striving toward an ideal. By juxtaposing the Culture against more traditional utopian concepts, Banks invites us to question what a perfect society truly means. Is it about material abundance, moral righteousness, or the freedom to live as one desires? In Banks' universe, the idyllic post-scarcity economy liberates individuals from need. With AI tending to their every requirement, citizens of the Culture engage in pursuits of enrichment, art, personal development, exploration, unhindered by economic constraints. Yet this is not a naive portrayal of a utopia. Banks is acutely aware of the paradoxes such freedom can produce. What does one do with unlimited freedom? How does society value contributions when survival is no longer at stake? And just because its citizens do not need doesn't mean they do not want. In fact, due to this independence from need, many citizens within the Culture lead lives filled with frivolous hedonism. They have no worries, only perform tasks they want to perform, and have a glut of pursuits at their fingertips that stimulate both mind and senses. The temptation to live a life devoid of meaning, filled with decadence and self-gratification, is very real for some citizens. But it's also important to remember that in Banks' vision, utopianism is not an end goal but a process. It's the canvas upon which complex lives are drawn, and these characters' lives are full of purpose and do have meaning. Through them, Banks prompts us to consider the essence of fulfillment. In the Culture, with its absence of want and its abundance of opportunity, we see a reflection of our deepest yearnings for a society that is both just and vibrant. Yet we are also faced with the realisation that perfection is a horizon always just beyond reach, and perhaps it's within the pursuit itself where true utopia lies. Banks' portrayal of utopianism serves as a mirror reflecting not just what we hope to achieve, but also the inherent complexities of our ambitions. It challenges us to rethink the concept of utopia. Is it the guarantee that material needs are met, the absence of conflict, or is it the infinite scope for self-expression and realization, no matter what that might be? The culture doesn't always offer answers, but instead presents a living, breathing society where these questions are as important as the answers themselves. This leads us to another profound theme in Banks' work: moral relativism. The culture, with its advanced AI and diverse inhabitants, presents a society where moral and ethical norms are not absolute. Banks explores how different species and societies within this universe hold varying moral standards, challenging the notion of universal ethics. Banks constructs a universe teeming with moral complexity. This is a cosmos where the very notion of right and wrong is not dictated by a universal moral compass, but rather by the diverse ethical frameworks of its inhabitants. The culture, with its advanced intelligence and seemingly boundless perspective, still grapples with the age-old dilemma of intervention. Should a society as advanced as the culture impose its values on others? Banks doesn't offer a one-size-fits-all answer, but instead presents a series of moral quandaries. The culture's AI minds, vast intelligences that manage much of its day-to-day affairs, often engage in profound debates on whether to interfere with less advanced civilizations. These are not decisions made lightly, and the repercussions can be far-reaching, affecting millions, if not billions of lives. Banks uses this theme to dissect the concept of moral responsibility. The culture's interventions are guided by what they call the greater good. However, this approach is fraught with challenges. What if the greater good leads to unforeseen consequences, or worse, to outcomes that contradict the very ethos of the culture? What if another society has a different definition of what the greater good should be? What right does the culture have to impose its own views? It is in these moments of decision that the true nature of the culture is revealed. Banks portrays a society that, despite its technological advancements and its enlightened philosophy, still struggles with the fundamental uncertainties of ethical action. The series compels readers to consider the weight of decision-making on a cosmic scale, where the true act of intervention can be both an expression of compassion and a trespass of autonomy. The culture's conundrum with intervention serves as a powerful allegory for our own world's political and ethical dilemmas. Banks masterfully uses sci-fi to echo the real-world debates of international aid, the responsibility to protect, and the ethics of global involvement. Inaction can be a form of neglect, yet action can be perceived as domination. This delicate balance of power and morality is a tightrope that the culture, and indeed our own societies, walk perilously. Delving deeper into socio-political commentary, Banks masterfully portrays elements of both anarchism and socialism within the culture. This society is anarchistic in that it has a lack of centralised power, and socialist in its emphasis on resource equity and technological egalitarianism, meaning all citizens are given the same resources no matter what effort, if any, they choose to devote to helping to run their society. Banks dissects these ideologies with a critical scalpel. Through his narrative, the culture emerges as an entity that defies centralised governance. It's a civilization where power structures are decentralised and leadership is a fluid concept rather than a rigid hierarchy. This might echo the anarchist ideal of self-governance, but Banks is cautious not to romanticise it. He acknowledges that such a system, while might seem liberating on the surface, could potentially lead to a diffusion of responsibility. When everyone is in charge, the risk emerges that no one is truly accountable. Banks offers a critique here. An anarchistic society might excel in respecting individual autonomy, but it may also falter in the face of collective crises, where a unified direction is needed. On the socialist front, Banks imagines a world where resources are given freely to all, and the benefits of technology are shared. Yet, he doesn't ignore the pitfalls of such uniform distribution. Does this equity over equality stifle innovation? Is there a cost to individuality when society values the collective above all? Banks's critique of socialism within the culture is subtle yet profound. He challenges us to consider whether true equity is achievable and at what cost. The culture operates on a principle that everyone deserves everything, but this is a double-edged sword. The narrative probes the tension between the desire for individual recognition and the societal push for uniformity. Then there are the fundamental mechanics that make this society work. If we break it down into their components, the success of the culture is a socialist society that rely on three very important things. The fact that they have an infinite number of resources, the fact all citizens have the freedom to join and leave the culture as they choose, and the fact that all decisions are made by AI minds that verge on the infallible. The culture is a thought-provoking reflection of an alternative society model, but it's also a mirror held up to our own. The series prompts us to question the viability of a society devoid of structured leadership and the value of a system where resources are equally distributed without regard for contribution or merit, and how this ultimately affects its inhabitants, both for the better and the worse. Banks' portrayal of these ideologies, in my view, is less an endorsement but a thought experiment. He presents the culture as a grand trial in societal engineering, pushing readers to ponder the intricacies of government, the distribution of resources, and the true meaning of equality. To fully grasp the depths of Banks' socio-political commentary, let's look at three seminal novels from the Culture series. Consider Fleabas, The Player of Games, and Use of Weapons. These works offer a unique perspective on the intricate tapestry of the culture. First, consider Fleabas. Through the eyes of Hauser, a shape-shifting mercenary who opposes the culture, Banks explores the cost of war and the value of life. Hauser's journey and his interactions with various factions reveal the complexities of Banks's universe, challenging the notion of the culture as a flawless society. Hauser's character, with his deep-seated skepticism of AI and preference for the biological, embodies the philosophical debate about the essence of humanity. His ideological conflict with the culture raises questions about progress, the role of technology in society, and the nature of belief. Next, Player of Games. Here we meet Gage, a master game player who is sent by the culture to an empire where one's status is determined by one's skill at a complex game. Gage's story is a masterclass in examining the intersections of society, status, and competition. Gage's character arc is commentary on the seduction of power and the fulfillment that comes with success. His experiences critique societal hierarchies and the very human fear of obsolescence, providing a stark contrast to the culture's egalitarian ethos. Then, in Use of Weapons, the novel's protagonist, Zakalwe, is an agent involved in the culture's covert interventions. Through his complex and non-linear storyline, Banks peels back layers of personal and political morality. Zakalwe is an individual and, as an operative, becomes the embodiment of the moral ambiguities of intervention. His personal history interweaves with his present, posing questions about the justification of violence and the consequences of meddling in affairs of other civilizations. These characters, each in their way, bring to life the philosophies that underpin the culture, delivering a sophisticated critique of not only the fictional universe they inhabit, but also the very real world we share. By examining their stories, we uncover the nuanced debates on progress, power, identity, and morality that Banks so eloquently provokes. The landscape of sci-fi is rich and varied, with each work providing its own vision of the future. The Culture series stands as a titan among these, distinct in its post-scarcity economy and its subversion of typical space opera tropes. To appreciate Banks' contribution, let's compare The Culture to other significant sci-fi works. Consider Asimov's Foundation, where a galactic empire falls into decay, or Herbert's Dune, with its feudalistic houses vying for power and control over resources. Unlike these, The Culture exists without want or centralised authority, presenting a contrasting viewpoint on how a spacefaring civilization might evolve. While Foundation and Dune reflect humanity's historical penchant for empire and order, The Culture is an embodiment of anarchy and socialism taken to their theoretical zeniths. Yes, anarchy and socialism might be much more appealing if we had benevolent and largely infallible AI overlords to run all aspects of society and make our decisions. But sometimes a Butlerian jihad just gets in the way, you know. Where other universes grapple with scarcity, The Culture luxuriates in abundance, questioning not how to survive, but how to live. but also how to extend its abundance to other societies. Banks's influence on modern sci-fi cannot be overstated. The Culture series has inspired a generation of writers and creators, infusing the genre with themes of AI governance and ethical quandaries. Video games like Mass Effect and novels like Anne Leckie's Imperial Network series echo the Culture's complex societies and moralities. Contemporary authors speak of Banks with reverence, myself among them, citing his ability to blend vast world building with intimate character studies and complex themes that force critical, intelligent thinking. His work pushes the boundaries of what sci-fi can be, what it should be, going beyond mere escapism and encouraging philosophical exploration. The Culture series has left a lasting impact on the genre. It challenges both writers and readers to imagine a universe where humanity's potential is not limited by its flaws, but enhanced by its virtues. Banks' narrative has expanded the scope of sci-fi, forging paths into new thematic territories, and redefining what space operas can aspire to be. For me, Banks' work has been more than just a series of novels. It's been a thought experiment, a philosophical guide, and a source of inspiration. It encourages us to think critically and to confront our preconceptions about society, governance, and our future as a species. If you haven't yet delved into the Culture, I cannot recommend it enough. For those who have journeyed through these stories, share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. What does the Culture reflect about our world, and what can we learn from it? For more explorations on the vast realms of sci-fi, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and don't forget to leave a like. It really does help others find my content. Until next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you're craving an extraordinary journey through realms unexplored, consider delving into universes directly out of my brain by checking out my sci-fi novels Black Milk and Delphine Descends. You can find more details in the description. Thanks for your support.